to today, but we're just going to start with a bit of an introduction. My name is Aaron.
Ed.
I'm Ethan.
And I guess this podcast is mostly just talking about pop culture, games we've been playing, and a few recent events that have come up. I've just gotten back from PAX, and I'll touch on that in a little bit. Ethan, what have you been playing recently?
Well, I've just come back from a holiday in New Zealand where I was snowboarding and I broke my arm. So, as much fun as you think one-handed gaming would be, it's not that much fun. So I've been filling it with a lot of Lego Star Wars and RuneScape.
You figured out a bit of a workaround, right?
I am a tech wizard.
What do you mean by tech wizard? What have you done?
Alright, well, when I just freshly got back, I remapped my Xbox One controller, switched the sticks over and switched the Y and A buttons so I can essentially WA, S and D the Xbox controller with one hand, and figured out the countdown timer for combat in RuneScape. So every 20 minutes I'd restart splashing so I'd get my back out. And while I was doing that, I was clocking Lego Star Wars and had every other, like Spotify running through, controlled by my phone. So yeah, good fun.
Sounds like a pretty good end to the holiday. Obviously, it's not great that you broke your arm, but...
Look, silver linings and all that, right?
Exactly. And Ed, what have you been playing recently?
Well, recently I've been playing some Darksiders 2. Picked that up on a Steam sale. It's pretty fun. I was always a big Prince of Persia fan.
Wonderful.
So it's very much in that style of figure out puzzles for a long time and then broken up with fights to kind of reinvigorate the action.
Yep.
But I'm enjoying so far sort of the fast pacedness of it all. I think
Cool.
the platforming, the climbing shit, and
Yep.
running around and jumping and climbing stuff is quite fun because it has a fast pace and while everything is linear, it's kind of not at the same time. They drop you into a room and say, here are all the elements of that room, and try and figure out how to get to X.
Yep.
So it's quite fun. I'm enjoying it.
Awesome. Sounds good. I picked it up when it was fairly new. I wasn't a big fan of Darksiders 1.
No,
to
neither
be
was I.
perfectly
I
honest.
gave it a red hot crack.
Yeah, but Darksiders 2 just seemed like a completely different angle on the series, and it almost has like a bit of a Shadow of the Colossus sort of feel to it, some of the monsters you're fighting as well, which I found really cool as well.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
I
I don't think I've seen. No, I haven't checked out Darksiders 1 or 2.
Fucking
So.
love it, dude.
Yeah, okay,
like
cool.
it's like
I describe it as like the Prince of Persia early series stuff, like Sands of Time and whatnot.
Yeah,
Meets Shadow of the Colossus meets kind of God of War vibes.
Okay, cool. All
God
right,
of War is a good way to describe it as well.
So like what big, just incredibly massive end of world boss kind of things that you're climbing all over and.
Yeah, exactly, and like
Sick.
finding their weak points. And,
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, from my memory, I don't think I ended up finishing it.
Essentially, there's like a series of mini bosses, and then the world boss, because there's seven separate worlds or dimensions or whatever. Your world boss is your Shadow of the Colossus, like giant figure out how to take this behemoth down kind of gambit.
Awesome. I've personally been playing, obviously, a lot of Heroes of the Storm. That's my day-to-day game. But I've also recently been tapping into Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Defense or Battle, or the new XCOM-esque, I guess you could put it.
XCOM for kids.
XCOM for kids,
Fisher and
yeah.
Michael's my first XCOM.
Well, Ethan's been playing it a little bit, and we've discovered it's not just
There's
super
a lot of
handholdy.
tactics.
Yeah.
So how is Tickle Me XCOM?
It's
actually a lot of fun.
It's fucking great.
It's very self-aware.
Yeah.
And it, for me at least, it's great because it's a bit of a slower pace, but you really have to think things through because you can fuck yourself like that. Like
And
sorry, go ahead.
yeah, no, sorry. I was just gonna say on what you were saying about it being self-aware is very, very true. Like I love the Rabbids from their first iteration in Rayman vs. Rabbids on the Wii. I think I was playing it on.
Yeah.
And even the vaudevillian slapstick show just with the Rabbids. Like, it's a lot of... I enjoy that character. And having that mashed into the Mario universe, it's kind of like the straight man and the silly man in a comedy, I guess. It works really well. But gameplay-wise, I'm really enjoying it. I've never been much into tactics. like Final Fantasy Tactics or anything like that. That turn-based RPG never really has gelled with me, but this time around I'm really enjoying it. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, and I didn't really talk about the self-aware thing too much, but like just all of the jokes that are within the game itself. Like you said, the Rabbids needed the straight man because they're kind of like Ubisoft's minions from Despicable Me.
Yep.
Without the straight man of Gru in Despicable Me or Mario and like the whole Mushroom Kingdom of this game, it gets boring really quick. It's like, you know, oh, this is funny, cool, that's cute. Okay, I'm sick of it now. That's 60 jokes in a row about the exact same thing.
Yeah.
So I'm really getting over.
Exactly.
Like any slapstick, it needs a thread to tie it.
Absolutely.
I mean,
yeah.
Three Stooges had two silly and a straight man for the most part. And,
Yeah, absolutely.
and that would rotate from gag to gag. But anyways, I also mentioned that I went to PAX. And I'm just back from America, where I did PAX and a few other things. And I'll be going back for BlizzCon. Which I'm sure I'll cover in a few later episodes.
No.
PAX was interesting. I thought I would be much more interested in the show floor and not so much the panels, but it was actually the other way around. The panels really fascinated me. And I mean, it kind of doesn't make sense because I guess you could just watch the panels on a stream, but a lot of the panels I went to were an improv one for D&D. And just the energy of that room was really good. There was also one where it was a few of the guys from Loading Ready Run. They did an improv group and they were just doing theatre sports games, and that was really fun. I also saw a panel on mental health in esports, and it really fascinates me. And it wasn't just I played a lot of games and now I'm unhappy with my life. There was like one of the heads of Blue Spot, I think, the creator of PlayerUnknown's Battleground. There was esports organization owners, there was professional players, professional streamers, and an actual psychologist all talking about it, and I found that really fascinating.
Oh, sure.
But to tie up the con, I guess, the show floor was really fascinating. Just all these people who were there for a like-minded reason and loving games and seeing the new stuff first, and this was my first big introduction into VR, actually playing VR. And there was one hotel convention room where it was literally just all VR games. There was a Fruit Ninja VR tournament, and
which would look like a silent disco of like viewing from the outside, just people kind of waving their arms around.
Exactly, not having the context, yeah.
Like I'd be the guy that brings real fruit into that mix.
Yeah, just watching someone play Fruit Ninja and like, watermelon assault!
Something nice and soft. Just like,
like a couple of peaches.
Just a couple peaches
Oh,
in
there were
there.
stones in there, that was rude.
You just see people start to flinch around.
Oh, jeez, this VR
It's a little too real.
Just question their reality a little bit, you know?
But no, it was really cool. I played Ashes of Creation, which is, I think, a lot of old ex-Blizzard vanilla WoW devs having yet another stab at an MMO.
Blizzard chapter. It's a fucking Bible chapter.
Yes, seriously.
Ashes of Creation.
It's pretty cool. What I was playing was pre-tech alpha, so it was a bit janky at times. But all in all, I enjoyed it. I think it's got some merits. I'm going to keep an eye on it, but I've been fooled by quote-unquote WoW killers before, a la WildStar. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I remember you playing a lot of
I
WildStar.
used to play a lot of WildStar, and
Fury.
and
Fury. I've tried every WoW killer under the sun.
The Star Wars
SWTOR?
one? Yeah.
Star Wars, yeah, the Old Republic, yeah.
They all have their merits, but it's hard to...
It's hard to topple the Blizzard beast.
Yeah, it's hard to dethrone the king, right?
Yeah.
Well, I think it's definitely that, but it's also the age of MMOs has come and gone. Like, it went like your FPSs and your MMOs.
It's shifted.
Exactly.
It's shifted into your destinies and your...
Well, and especially now that kind of everything has its own RPG element. Like, even Rabbids and Mario Kingdoms,
Yeah.
that has a huge RPG element.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
Absolutely. Most games kind of have that kind of...
at least some sort of skill
section now where it's you want to do the thing you're doing in single player amongst a whole bunch of people, well, go ahead.
Yeah, that's
Like,
very
a
true.
lot of games have that sort of section now.
Yeah, whereas I think when WoW first came to be, it was the first massive multiplayer online where you could define roles and interact with friends and all that sort of stuff. I won't dive into that today.
That's a whole nother
That's a whole nother topic.
Another
But
episode
long
like
and
that.
short, Ashes of Creation was really cool. And then I spent a lot of time around the indie booths. I found them really fascinating because it's the developers there with the games, and this is what they've bled and sweat and cried and not slept over for years. And this is like, hey, what do you think of it? My first experience with VR was by the creators of Myst. If you remember the old game Myst,
Yeah.
I think
I'm old enough.
Yeah, and that was a really nice introduction to VR because it wasn't like someone's trying to kill you or scare you or you have to do all this stuff. You could literally just move around, enjoy the scenery, and like peer over cliffs.
The game Grandma can play.
Exactly.
But no, like that would be very cool as well.
It was nice, and I'll touch on some other stuff another time. But that's been me. I've only got back from PAX a couple days ago. Just been enjoying setting up on a desktop and not playing on a couch on a laptop, which has been nice.
Sure.
But yeah, on to, I guess, the first main topic of tonight. A couple days ago, PewDiePie...
Yeah.
Boy, did he.
Yeah, boy,
I think
did
enough
he.
said, yeah.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
dropped some unsavory words, and...
Well, namely, for those that aren't certain as to what's happened,
Yeah.
he's dropped a pretty blatant N-bomb
Yeah.
in a video.
He was playing PlayerUnknown, and I think in the context of it, one of his teammates is down, and the guy's rushing out of cover, and he gets a few shots on him, and honestly, I think the guy should have been down, and out of frustration, he goes, "Oh, you," etc., etc. You can look the video up. I'm not going to say it on podcast.
It's the kind of thing you'd expect from a 15-year-old if you're playing an online shooter, but
Like someone
unfortunately,
who's my
he's
age.
gone ahead and done it in front of the millions of people that watch his content.
Especially
Yeah.
considering this isn't the first time something like that has happened. Like,
No.
he's got an apology video up as well, which he put up in response to that. It's my response on PewDiePie's channel. And honestly, not good enough, dude. Like, there's another, going back a bit, and this is only a few months as well. There's, I don't know I can't remember the exact context of it, but there's some sort of South African YouTube channel where kind of like The Gods Must Be Crazy, if you know that movie.
Yeah.
Where they get, this is going to sound really bad, but they get native looking people to hold up signs, and it can be whatever you want, and you pay to you know what I'm talking about.
Yep.
Yeah.
This is some pretty awful shit.
Horrid stuff. So it's very anti-Semitic. Again, I'm not really.
Did you catch that, Aaron?
Vaguely,
signs?
yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know about it, but I did hear about what he did.
So there's not any derogatory words in the message, but essentially it's only 4 words: kill all the Jews.
Yeah, like...
For that to happen a couple of months ago, and then PewDiePie comes up with something like this, considering his YouTube Red contracts are already fucking shaky with all of that stuff that just happened, and now this, not good enough.
Well, funny...
All kicked off with the Sieg Heil in the middle of the video, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
like,
that's true.
Like, it's getting to the point where it's like, you call me a horse, I call you a dick. You call me a horse twice,
I punch you in the mouth.
Punch you in the mouth, yeah. Call you a horse a third time, maybe I should get a saddle. Like,
Yeah.
how many opportunities are we going to give this guy, and he can just go, "Oh, sorry guys, I was being silly,
Look at my blonde hair. I'm not Aaron, I swear.
Is he a vampire now? No.
You're
No,
black.
It's more of a case of like, he's untouchable. He's made enough money. Like, there was a point where a couple of years ago, his landlord was complaining about him making too much noise. So he said, "Fuck you," and bought the place. He has so much fucking money that he's relatively untouchable.
Yeah, that's true.
So he can just make these apologies and not really care about it. Well, like, he obviously does care, but...
That being said, is there a personal responsibility there? Because, I mean, like, Mel Gibson still gets jobs.
That's true.
That's true.
Like, does he have a responsibility to his audience, or can he sort of let his popularity wane and glow. Wane and grow due to his actions.
Arguably on that point though, then Mel Gibson is still getting work, but more as a director rather than any acting thing. So his face, everything about him is completely hidden.
I think he's actually got a job coming up. Daddy's Home too. I feel. I think he's in that.
Well, that's going to be an Oscar bait for sure.
Do you think people are writing movies for Oscars these days? Yes.
I mean, I guess.
A slave.
I guess my big issue with it is this whole gaming thing, streaming Let's Plays, is a very new concept. It's not like movies have been out for years before people made racial slurs and things like this, but when someone from the outside perspective sees really big name who their 12 to 14-year-old child watches.
Yes, that's the big...
And it's like, he's making racial slurs, and then they hear their kids making racial slurs. It fucks it up for people who genuinely want to get... And it trivializes the industry that we want to get into.
It's the whole 18-plus debate with Australia again.
Well, we'll get into that, but that's been passed.
Oh, no, absolutely. But I mean, it's kind of that same... Sort of a similar argument. It's like... Those few people who are like, buying games for their kids and everything like that, they're making everyone else look bad.
Yeah.
We want to do the right thing. We just want to, we want to game comfortably as adults without being looked down on.
Of course, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
Yeah. I think you brought up briefly the point that it's not that he said it that it's the problem. It's that there's a 6-year-old sitting somewhere with an iPad, and when he opens YouTube, the first videos he's going to see belong to this guy, who's dropping racial slurs and trying to make Nazi jokes and.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's I think that's the crux of the real problem here.
Not okay. Like
in terms of his public image.
Yes.
And did he care more about the fact that he made the slur itself, or did he care more about his public image?
That's exactly my point. Like okay.
I don't think he explicitly says "I'm sorry" once during his apology video. Not once.
Yeah.
He does say something fairly genuine and toward the truth though. He mentions that he's an idiot.
He
mentions he's just dumb.
2/3 of the video.
Yeah, with God knows how long that was because it was jump cuts everywhere.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So that might have been a 5-minute. You don't know what was said behind that. Like, this is stupid. You don't even know if this was written by him or it's just a PR company. Like,
yeah, exactly.
It's. Don't get me wrong. I don't think his career has to end because of it. I think that would be a terrible shame for anyone doing something that they love to see their career end. But he needs to make some shifts. He says in the video, I succumbed to online culture and stop playing online games then.
Yeah.
If you're worried about the money, get off comms. Mute yourself. You're the top of the field. You need to have more of a censor. There are plenty of other people in this field streaming who have less experience who aren't doing these things.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Wholesome content.
Yeah.
I really don't like that he blames online culture as well.
Because he's a part of creating. Yeah. Go ahead.
It's, at a certain point, when is it just you? As we said, as you were saying earlier.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
It's interesting as well, kind of you mentioned that his YouTube Red contract is in tatters at the moment. This was actually on Twitch, which is therein lying a more inherent problem, because Twitch is also the platform where esports is most predominantly broadcasted, to an extent where Amazon is creating their own games. There's Amazon Studios. They're making Breakaway, and it's specifically catered to be a esports based game. And there's a lot of really cool stuff. But I guess what I'm tying this into is he's now degrading a platform that is not just gaming and Let's Play on YouTube, but also the other side of it of esports as well, which is already struggling to be taken seriously in this day and age. But another thing I was going to say before, he has seen some backlash, and I think more companies need to do this to let him know that what he's doing is not okay.
I was going to say, what do you think of that? The creator of Firewatch. Do you
that? That's what I was going to bring up. Yeah, what's the name of the company?
Essentially said that he's going to put in flag requests or takedown requests on all of the videos that PewDiePie's made using his games. in his company's games.
Yeah.
Cool. I've heard of
the
I've heard of a
Firewatch.
few of
Yeah.
few games have joined in on that as well.
They have actually joined in on that?
I think so.
I kind of hope so. Like, I don't want him to never be able to do this again.
But a bit of a hit. Like,
He
a
needs
slap
to
in the face to be
It's
like,
a
dude.
little interesting though, because they knew what they were getting into. It's not like he doesn't have a history, and it's kind of like our sales from this guy have been made.
Yeah, but I mean, like, what's the old
Was he-
saying where it's like, bad men can also be good men who don't do anything? You
True.
know, like,
Yeah.
like,
But it's... Yeah.
I'm not saying he's inherently a bad dude.
No.
Like, I mean, I'm not full posterity. I've said horrible things online
Of course.
as well.
Of
like,
course. Yeah.
You know, things I'm definitely not proud of. But on that same token,
You're not
I
broadcasting
didn't
to millions
exactly.
of people.
I didn't have an audience of however many live people that were, and like, you know, especially in this day and age where everything you say, everything you write on the internet, every picture you take can be archived from here to infinity, kind of thing. Like, like you said before, you've got to have more of a mind about it. There's plenty more streamers out there who are putting out, you know, just as good content that don't make racial slurs.
Oh, absolutely.
And if that's something you find you're struggling in, take a break from it.
Yeah.
Like-
The thing that I'm saddened, not going to say most about it because it's a horrible thing to say, but
Yeah.
the English language is full of so many wonderful ways to call someone a horrendous ass clown. Why do
Yeah.
you need to degrade
Just
it? to
call
someone-
Horrendous ass clown being
Like,
one of
yeah, exactly. And then worse, you know, after he, like, you can watch the video in itself. After he says it, he goes, "Oh no, I meant fucking asshole." It's like, whoa, okay, so you've gone from one to not much better. Like,
Again,
Yeah.
does he not edit?
yeah.
This
Well,
is
this
on
was
Twitch.
live.
This is literally
yeah,
live
fair
on
enough,
Twitch.
fair enough.
And you can even see on the video that we watch specifically, it has like his Twitch chat on the side. It's literally from the VOD, so you can see people go, "Oh shit, like this is gonna come back to
Here
fucking
we go
bite
again.
you." Like, people know when people fuck up. He knew when he fucked up. This
Actually, speaking of as well, a lot of his fans kind of came up to support him and everything, saying he
Really?
didn't mean it. And it's like,
yeah,
nah, you gotta cut that. Like, you gotta cut that mentality, because that's bullshit.
yeah, like, sure, it wasn't, okay, this is going to sound really bad, but this is not my objective opinion. He wasn't looking at a black character in a game or a black person on a bus doing an IRL stream and using the racial slurs.
Yep.
It was more of a slip, not to justify it. He does correct himself very quickly after and recognizing it wasn't an issue. It's not like he doubled down on some racial tirade.
Yeah.
Like,
It's not, again, drunk Mel Gibson pulled over by sugar tits.
no, yeah, like, I think it's more he needs to see a definitive slap on the wrist to make sure he doesn't do this again. If he does it again, like, I personally don't watch his content just because it's not my demographic.
Same, but still.
I hope he sees a significant enough hit that it justifies him rectifying his future and present past actions, but not enough that it ruins his career.
Sorry. I was just going to ask, like, but personally for me, and this is open to opinion and debate as well, but if a streamer or something, because I watch a bit of, like, Stone Mountain 64, just because the thing that got to me about him was how he played the role of the commander in Battlefield Squads. I'm like, oh, this guy's great to watch. If he dropped a racial slur, like, generally I kind of just watch his videos in silent, but sometimes I watch, you know, on Facebook feeds or whatever else.
Yeah.
If he starts dropping racial slurs, I'll probably be like, right, unfollow, unlike, you know, that's not what I need.
No.
Man, I think that's, like, you know.
It actually is interesting. It ties back into the mental health in esports panel I was at.
Yeah.
A lot of what they were talking about at the end was stopping this fucking negativity trend that is the adolescent gaming perspective of this era and just spreading positivity. Like, it's kind of gotten to the point where it's like, no, that's enough. Like, be more positive. Kind of tying back to what you were saying, there's a streamer called Dr. Disrespect, and he wears, like, speed dealer glasses, and a black mullet and a black moustache.
Excellent.
And it's a character, I can recognize that.
Mm-hmm.
People either do not or choose not to recognize that's a character, and they'll embrace that sort of negativity. There was someone who obviously wasn't Dr. Disrespect. I pulled up his stream at the time and he was playing PlayerUnknown's. But someone on Heroes of the Storm made an account named Dr. Disrespect. And they were just being a flat out fucking cunt. Like, they were being the worst person in the world, kind of going, oh, I'm Dr. Disrespect, ooh, I'm being super edgy. And
look at me, it's me.
I'm doing the character that I like. And it's just like, there's not enough positive role models in Twitch and streaming. There's a lot of good ones, but there's definitely a point of, like, a focal point of negativity being successful, and that kind of needs to change, in my opinion.
Well, the thing about new media is it's still new media as well. This is a minefield. This is an area that people are still figuring out, and even the experienced people that have been doing it for years and years and years are still figuring out what is within their realms of responsibility as performers and as personalities online. And I think every single mistake we see like this is a step towards what's acceptable online when broadcasting.
Yeah, definitely.
And I mean, again, think like going back to what you kind of talking about before, where he slipped up, and kind of tying into what you're saying. It's kind of not just, you know, a news presenter all of a sudden they're doing a live report and someone just yells something into the mic. He's focusing on 60 different things at once. He's focusing on the game itself. He's focusing on his chat feed. He's focusing on making sure he's doing well in the game so the streamers have something interesting to watch. He's focusing on making sure the stream is still running properly and it's not, you know, his computer's still running fine or whatever.
Yeah, definitely. Like,
and he's still trying to be entertaining.
Yes.
So, but still, again, by this time, like, I mean,
he's been around since Let's Plays existed.
Exactly. Well, he kind of started it a little bit,
Yeah.
He was
one of the pioneers.
He's a leader of the face cam.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Sort of genre of Let's Play.
Yeah.
And, you know, props to the dude for that, but you'd think he would have learned something in the, you know...
the people in
the
that industry don't have a great history, though, Tobuscus.
I don't know about this.
Oh, what's this?
Another face cam YouTuber.
Oh, okay.
Big controversies. He doesn't do it anymore due to sort of what's happened, big fallout with girlfriends and like rape allegations and
oh, geez.
yeah, like some real serious nonsense.
Well, I mean, and that's the thing as well. I think, okay, hang on. Now that I've thought about it a little bit, it might be a good thing that we're starting to call out streaming stuff, because JonTron said a bunch of racial slurs, and now all of his contracts are kind of like, oh, see, dude, enough of that.
That was not just a racial slur. That was a debate where his ideologies were he had a lot of time to backtrack and, like, rectify, and he was like, I liked JonTron, but he's a piece of shit now. Like, it's like his like, the dude's half Persian, half American, not to say that's bad, but he aligned very heavily with a lot of white nationalist sort of ideologies, and it's kind of like, dude, like, what?
What are you doing?
Yeah, you're literally, your parents probably suffered the shit that you're preaching.
Well, that's not exactly what I'm talking about, though. Like, people are going, no, this isn't okay. You know, cut off his contract. Stop watching him.
Exactly.
Stop giving him likes and follows and shares and giving him ad revenue and everything.
It kind of ties into the next thing I think you wanted to bring up.
Yeah, ad revenue.
Which is YouTube's running scared a little bit.
Yeah.
Well,
due to some of this stuff.
It is, and it's a big shame in a lot of things. So basically, if you haven't heard, there's a new algorithm with the YouTube ad revenue. Basically, I'm not sure if it's with every company and specific companies. Basically, there's a filter, and if something comes up that YouTube's filter doesn't like, it demonetizes your video, if I'm correct.
It removes advertising.
That's it.
It's an algorithm by which, as is to my understanding, advertising is placed on like advertiser friendly videos per se. So if an advertiser doesn't want, say, guns related to videos for which they're advertising, if there's a gun that's picked up by like this algorithm, as far as I understand, advertising will be removed from that and won't get revenue from that advertising.
Right.
Okay. Yep.
And similar with swearing and stuff like that.
Profanity.
A lot of channels have made a conscious like shift away from profane content and swearing and violence and that sort of stuff.
Which in my opinion, is a big fucking shame.
Absolutely.
Like, this is probably going to get up to YouTube, so good luck getting any ad revenue. Fuck yeah, sick. But that's
Here's to the free market.
yeah, that's my big fucking issue. When I fell in love with YouTube and really started to wanting to be a part of that community, it was for the want of a better term, uncensored, unfiltered thought putting into videos and just true personality. Like, why I fell in love with Game Grumps is just their stream of consciousness. And, like, how many recorded hours they have? Thousands of recorded hours. They don't have inherent racial slurs, and if they do, they mute them. There's, like, one video, and it's irrelevant, and it's not even that bad. Like, Aaron's in a bit of a joke, and he goes a bit too far with it. He goes, oh, don't fucking put that in. And, like, edits it out, and they just put it in one of the end bits, and everyone's like, what was that about? No one really knows.
And the joke then becomes, like, whoops.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
yeah.
That's the correct way to handle it.
Exactly.
But I guess more the point of what I was saying was, it was a new media where you could just be yourself and get your creative mind out there. And realistically, a lot of the big people that made YouTube what it is wouldn't, if they started today in this algorithm, they wouldn't succeed. 100%. Jacksepticeye probably wouldn't have. Witwix probably wouldn't have. Game Grumps probably would not have. Definitely not have. Yeah, they're the ones that come to my mind. What about you guys? What's your opinion on this sort of matter?
I think the biggest problem that they're facing is the demographic that uses YouTube has shifted back 10 years. So they need to try and change. What they're trying to do is change the culture of YouTube as a community into this more like kid-friendly kind of environment where, you, like I said, you can sit your six-year-old down with an iPad and feel safe while he's browsing YouTube, whatever. Unfortunately, that's not what it ever was, and it's probably not what it ever will be.
Yeah.
I think the culture's gone too far to try and make that dramatic a change.
And I think, I think the debate about whether or not you should monitor what your kid is doing depending on their age on the internet is a completely different thing. Like, that arguably shouldn't have much of a basis, but I guess considering how public the internet is, and every platform of it as well, from streaming to YouTube to public forums like Twitter and Facebook and stuff like that, everything is public and everything can be accessed as long as you've generally got an account, or sometimes not even then. So yeah, you need to have a filter. And like you said before, Game Grumps does it well because they're not live.
Yeah, exactly. I just gotta say though, I think it's hilarious that they've gone with YouTube Red instead of...
It sounds like Pornhub or something.
Instead of RedTube.
Yeah!
Because someone is accidentally gonna go YouTube Red and accidentally portmanteau it and type in RedTube and get a fucking horrid surprise.
I'd far rather they call it YouTube not porn.
And not PornTube. Yeah.
Not PornTube, that's just as bad.
Or not RedTube, sorry.
Not
Sorry,
RedTube.
now that you all know my masturbatory habits. Fuck.
Apps.milf.com.
Definitely not backdoor sluts, no. I don't know what you're talking about. But yeah, it sounds really dirty, doesn't it?
Yeah.
YouTube Red, I'm just like, not comfortable with this name. I hope this is a working title.
Yeah.
Boardroom and you came up with YouTube Red?
Is that your best one? Like,
Just, I've got it! YouTube
Yeah.
Red, that's it. Order the Chinese. Here we go.
Here, I'll do your fucking job for you, YouTube. YouTube, unboxed. I'm thinking outside the box.
Oh, that's actually really good.
And, right?
And then the intern slowly raises his hand.
Get out!
Where's our Chinese? Damn it!
I said milk and two, not one and milk.
PewDiePie is a communist, confirmed.
Oh boy.
It's kind of ironic because I said just before that I want the gaming culture to grow up, but it's also now where it's growing up and being censored. It's a catch-22. I think there's nothing wrong with being swearing or being profane. That's part of growing up. I mean, it didn't stop us finding new grounds and whatnot, which is where a lot of big
stick death.
Oh, exactly. Yeah. It doesn't stop. If you're gonna find it, you're gonna find it on the internet. And
rotten.com.
Gosh, how old are you, audience? Albino black sheep.
Oh,
yeah.
Back in the day. Woo. We're not dated or anything, right?
But it's more of a case of it's just saddening. It's like not so much your dog died, but your friend's dog died, and it's just like, I really like that thing.
There are people that have worked just like almost 2 decades now to establish a brand that's just getting absolutely torn apart.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly.
And it's harsh to let their hard work go to waste. And I think maybe I might have an interesting perspective that you two might not have. I'm a wrestling fan, right?
Okay.
Yep.
And wrestling on YouTube,
Yep.
like just by virtue of being wrestling related, scorched earth.
Wow.
Yeah.
Everything that was anything to do with wrestling, podcasts, highlight shows, like
Wow.
clips, full wrestling shows. There's a company you might have seen some of the videos. What Culture?
Yeah.
Yeah. They have they developed their own online wrestling company
What?
that operated exclusively through YouTube.
Oh, which is now.
Well, here's the interesting thing, which was demonetized and they couldn't put shows on anymore. They couldn't like hire the performers. They couldn't rent the venues because there was no money.
Yeah.
The cash inflow was
And then
just-
there was this huge community influx, a massive petition that eventually, reinstated the monetization of wrestling videos.
Well, and going back to kind of what you were saying before as well, though, like, I mean, sure, gaming needs to grow up, absolutely, and I 100% agree about that, but there's nothing wrong with a little bit of immature humour, provided it's not,
Provided it's in
ridiculously-
good taste, right?
Exactly,
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
And also, there's nothing wrong with making smart jokes as well that
No.
aren't profane, that aren't
Exactly.
slurs or anything like
Exactly.
that, like cool callbacks or anything like that, like
Yeah.
or I don't know. Yeah, I don't. Because YouTube Red's like a premium service, you have to pay for it, right?
Yes.
Just
And
to watch.
yes, but this is where it kind of ties in. I'm not going to get this right, but it's basically, imagine a Netflix subscription, but there's this pool of money that comes from YouTube Red and all the subscribers. The videos that get the more views from YouTube Red, they get direct money from it.
Okay.
But the shitty thing is YouTube Red was only instated because it wasn't making Google enough money. That's why they wanted YouTube Red.
To add to that point, YouTube Red also makes every video you watch on YouTube ad-free. And if you watch a video as a YouTube Red user, it will reimburse that channel for the ad revenue it would have made.
Oh,
So
it's
a lot
like
of channels
straight
now are
up
saying...
watch a thing, give the person money.
A lot of channels are now saying, if you want to support us, we're not getting advertiser revenue anymore. Get a YouTube Red subscription and then watch our content. That's the more effective way to support us as a
It's
channel.
kind of like Patreon or whatever, Patreon or whatever.
Yeah.
Which is the other avenue that people have gone
Exactly.
down.
Yeah,
It's seen a huge increase in popularity.
It's essentially Tumblr. What Patreon is?
No, it's basically like...
Because I haven't checked
It's
it.
content behind a paywall. So
Oh,
you can
right,
get X tiers of content depending on...
Your payment plans or whatever.
Yeah, or if you pay $10 a month, they'll send you like a monthly
Post or whatever.
like merch.
Yeah,
or something
okay,
like
cool.
that.
Like I've seen it mostly used with... Well, I was introduced to it through cosplay people because
Yeah.
they don't fucking straight up make money. They might, if they're like the Nigris or whatever, they might get flown and paid by Blizzard to go to a con and make a costume for it. But they
that's
don't
not
make
everyone,
money
yeah.
and they're fucking expensive
Mm,
costumes.
absolutely.
And they take a lot of time. So like, I'm all for those sort of people using Patreon. And I guess YouTubers as well, because I want them to be able to fucking eat and sleep at night. But I feel there's other things that YouTube could do to rectify that.
Well, yeah, they tried the age thing, remember? Where it was like, type your birthday in, and how did we get around that? Figured out a birthday that would get past the
Yeah.
first
Oh,
time.
I've been born in 1971 for years.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely, yeah.
On Patreon, I have this I listen to a podcast that makes daily 45-minute to an hour episodes, and their use of Patreon is really interesting. They say if you contribute to our Patreon,
Yeah.
we essentially make you part of the show. So
wow.
we'll screen your questions and answer them at in the back half of our show, or they have a weekly segment where they'll do video questions.
Right,
So
okay.
people send in
That's
videos
pretty
of them
cool.
That's
asking
cool.
and then discuss what they think of this person's
Opinions
and
question.
whatnot.
Yeah, cool. That's cool. I like that. To a very lesser scale, some streamers I watch have used in the past if you're a subscriber, you can request songs to play in the background of the stream. I liked it because I'm friends with a lot of my streamers. I'm like, hey, I wanted to show you this song, and I think other people in the stream might like it as well. But then it would just be people playing meme songs like Ocean Man and fucking
like
Doot Me Up Inside.
Like a chat jukebox sort of.
Yeah, exactly. So
Okay.
and also people would, because they didn't want to be restrictive, they wouldn't put a limit on the songs. And there's some people who don't, they would just load it up with like 15 songs from one artist, one after the other, and it's like...
And or surprise, there's about 1 million PewDiePies in this world.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
To tie it back together.
Yeah.
You didn't want racial slurs on your channel? Well, here's
a channel of just racial slurs.
here's
Exactly.
a bunch of people that
Exactly. So
are famous.
my friend who will go unnamed has removed that because it's a bunch of things. He wants to be able to control the vibe of his show, and having 15 deathcore songs in a row doesn't really allow him to do that, and he doesn't want to seem like a dick, and so no, please stop fucking doing that.
Stop it.
Yeah, as much as you might want to like scream while you're playing fucking HOTS or whatever, not everyone might.
No,
some people
exactly.
might enjoy some chill beats.
Well, that's what he's got. He's got like lo-fi 24-hour jazz radio on in the background. He doesn't even
Which
control
is
it.
tasteful as fuck.
It's fine, and it's nice, and it's kind of just like, it's background music, and it doesn't detract too much from...
electro swing.
Yeah, exactly, or
man.
whatever.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
Caravan Palace.
I can
Hell
fuck
yeah.
with some electro swing. But I guess tying into YouTube Red was specifically Game Grumps. Like, now I've got a pretty big passion for Game Grumps. They were who I was introduced into YouTube with the main person I view on it. And Aaron Henson of the channel put out a video saying, we're kind of fucking struggling and like we don't get ad revenue anymore. If you want to support us, get YouTube Red and watch Good Game. I believe they produce it to an extent. They've got some affiliation to it because it's advertised on their channel.
Well, they're the lead actors.
Well, I know that for sure, but I'm fairly sure I've seen somewhere that it's like produced by Game Grumps or something like that. Maybe it's just funding.
Or like an
an EP.
I know Harmon gets an EP credit.
Yeah, he's more creatively invested, and it would more be, I think, Game Grumps are more just financially invested because at least they know the platform, and if not their actual income they're putting into it, it's their faces and names on the brand, and also with
Jesse Cox as well, I think, is involved in a very similar capacity.
Yeah, he's one of the creators and one of the writers. He was on a panel for it. I didn't happen to get to it at PAX.
They had a full Good Game panel.
Not full one. I think it was Aaron, Jesse, and Starburns. I think Starburns is involved. Starburns is like really deeply tied to Dan Harmon. I never knew that.
My name is Alex. Well, they're best buddies, right? Like,
yeah, exactly.
He wrote a lot of Community as well.
Did he? I did not know that.
Oh, cool.
But yeah, I guess what I'm saying is a lot of my favourite YouTubers have gone through this golden era where they made lots of money and got really comfortable and expanded and hired managers and editors and workspaces.
That's
and probably
your
got
businesses.
exactly. You probably get mortgages, and then the company who you made succeed and helped you make succeed in this amazing pairing, prosperous relationship is kind of just giving you the fucking swift kick up the dick and said good luck. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. What's your opinion on it, Ethan? You haven't said much on the matter.
Well, I honestly don't know too much about it. I haven't, because I've always gone, YouTube Red, that sounds like a porn site. I won't worry about that. Because I've already got my favourite. No, but, yeah, I can see the merits for it. I can see the arguments against it. It's kind of goes back to what you said before, Ed, where we're still in the teething era of this whole crazy thing called the internet. Because, if you think about it, remember the internet back in the 90s? Back in the first days of the internet?
I remember
late
early
90s?
2000s.
Yeah, early 2000s.
Yeah.
Even then, that was internet 2.0, I think. We're up to HTML 2.0. We're up to HTML 5.0 at the moment.
Yeah.
We've not only figured out the internet to a point where we're like, okay, we can do a lot on it, but we've gone, this isn't good enough. Let's completely rework the system 5 times.
And just
And
in
that's
like
in
the
the last
inherent
20
language.
years.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm.
And like, you know, this is the fastest period of technological growth that humans have ever gone through in history so far. And come another 20 years, it'll probably look like a tortoise's pace in comparison. Because it's just getting faster and faster and faster.
It'll be in our brains.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Everyone will be connected to the same internet. We'll all have the exact same social media account. That won't be a choice of like Facebook or Instagram or anything like that, because it'll just be
a blanket
Unity or whatever.
Well,
it is. Yeah.
on that point, does anyone here remember AOL?
Yeah.
Does anyone here remember
MSN?
E-Bombs World?
Yeah.
E-Bombs World, yeah.
And
Well, that's where a
MSN
lot
Messenger.
of the Newgrounds,
and yeah,
and that's where a lot of the big YouTubers
which
started.
makes it kind of questionable to place one's living on an online platform as well. Like, I mean, it's not unprecedented that an online platform goes under suddenly.
True.
Yeah, absolutely.
That is very true. But, I mean, at least in that time, there was like a lot of fractures in social media in its infancy. There was an MSN and people were kind of using Bebo and MySpace and all these different variants. And now, to my knowledge, the only variants are just the different styles. And I guess when people can't use Facebook in China, it's Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. Like, they're very stock standard. I think it's starting to solidify more.
And Google Plus. Never speak its
fuck,
name.
I completely forgot about that, to be honest.
I'm sure people that like expected to get.
Hey, do you want my LinkedIn?
No, that's actually super fucking useful.
No, absolutely.
Yeah,
but like,
it's
just another one.
It's
like,
just another one.
It's
And that will get incorporated, I guess, into Facebook if I had to hypothesize somewhere.
Yeah.
But, I mean, lately, I just use Facebook for memes and funny videos.
Well, where are all the Viners now? YouTube.
Yeah,
Instagram.
exactly.
Instagram?
Yeah.
Yeah, because you can put videos on Instagram.
Well, again, like
But
I imagine they initially thought they'd be famous through that platform, and
That's true.
make their name through that platform.
Well, I've heard.
It's shaky ground, man.
Yeah.
And it's always going to be.
But yeah, again, it's the whole teething thing, because it's like, oh, is this gonna work? Oh, it could be this, that, or the other. You know, you take a bite out of it, and it's like, oh, that tasted like poop. No thanks, never again.
It's pretty clear that like very soon there's going to be a whole lot less people on YouTube and a whole lot more people on Twitch.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Because it's direct money.
And all those content creators that aren't satisfied with the money they're making through YouTube are going to go, I could get this money directly through people that care about the things that I'm making. So I'm going to go to this platform, but what I'm doing is clearly appreciated.
And I'm absolutely all for that, but what I'm scared about with that is how much sinister shit that could breed.
In what sense?
So if you've got a YouTube Red account that you're putting out tons of, let's just pick a topic just to lighten the mood again a bit. You're really against white desks. Like white desks are your most hated thing.
Is this coming back to the PewDiePie conversation?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, well, because I don't really want to talk about, hate groups explicitly, because that makes me a bit sad, because it's like, come on, humans. It's 2017. We're better than this by now, aren't we?
Yeah.
No? Really? Cool.
So,
Yeah. So, okay,
white
so
desks,
let's say
long
red
hair, blue
desks.
eyes.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay,
wow,
alright, fine. Call it spade.
Anyways, yeah.
So you've got echo chambers essentially in YouTube Red. So if you've got what you were kind of saying about, oh cool, I can make this content and I can directly get money from people who care about this. That's great for, gaming and pop culture discussion and, constructive thoughts about, progression of humanity. It's also vehemently terrible against like anti-establishment groups.
It becomes
anti-race
very
groups.
secular and
Absolutely.
incestuous.
And
I didn't even think of that.
And also, if it's just one opinion being repeated over and over and over again, that's how it gets stronger, and that's how it gets much more fucked. Like, think Breitbart, think Gamergate, think
you're not wrong.
all those. Think fucking PewDiePie saying all this shit.
Super far right.
Exactly.
Contribute gems if you support.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So like,
shit.
that's what I'm thinking about.
I didn't even think of that.
The merits for it are great because it's like, yeah, I support this content, but you don't control the content, all the content that's going out on YouTube
And then
Red.
suddenly you have the same problem.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah.
And except people are just paying for it now, and
So,
YouTube's making money hand over fist.
I think it's a fair summary to say that the main issue here is that people are terrible.
Yep.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
People
Yeah.
are fucking awful.
Except
and there's
us.
going to be
We're fine.
There's gonna
Everyone
be
listening out there, we're great. Everybody else sucks.
Well,
I can
I mean-
walk down the street and find as many terrible people as I'd find on YouTube. Like,
Oh yeah.
That's valid. That's valid. But they're also not going to be screaming their opinions directly at you.
absolutely.
Because there's that veil of anonymity.
If it makes you feel better, on Twitch there's also been a big resurgence to like IRL streams and art streams and cooking streams and stuff like that. So
Okay,
people
cool.
doing stuff that isn't gaming, and it's super wholesome. There's this guy, I think his name is pseudonym is the Phantom Painter, and when I watched him specifically, he was doing a whole bunch of fucking rad ass, really detailed oil Lord of the Rings paintings.
Nice.
And it was just like, it was literally him, and he had a microphone and had a chat so he could talk to you about it and why you did this
some
and
real
that.
Bob Ross shit.
But
Yeah.
and he's just playing the fucking shy music in the background and
Oh,
painting this amazing
lovely.
portrait
Oh.
of fucking Gandalf. So like, there is a lot of shit to it, but there's also gonna be good. I think it's like art imitating life sort of
Yeah.
bullshit.
Yeah. Hey, full posterity, I've watched like at least 16 hours of just lathe videos of just shit being made.
Oh,
mate.
that's
Oh.
hypnotic.
Oh.
Man.
Man, gosh, I've got a login for ulathe.com.
Yeah, if there's a YouTube Red account where someone's lathing something, I will sign up for YouTube Red for that.
Gosh, hit me up with some red lathe.
Okay, so we're going to start talking about some stuff we've been looking forward to. So it's coming into, I guess we call it the summer season of games, but more just like...
yeah, AAA Christmas releases are
Yes,
coming out. That's right.
yes. We're getting into that interesting part of the year. And having to work in the retail side of that industry a couple of years ago, it's very... interesting, and you see
You're
it
allowed
from...
to say it's shit.
It's not... No, it was interesting. Like, okay, well, I guess Destiny. When I was working there, Destiny 1 was coming out, or had just come out. And you get some interesting numbers behind it, and or just look into it personally so you've got a bit more of a knowledge in it. And Destiny 1, I don't want to spread misinformation, but I think it had $1 billion advertising budget, and it made $1.5 billion in the first day worth of sales.
Yep.
It fucking, like, to an extent, it works. And I guess that kind of ties into...
It was Bungie that did Destiny 1, yeah? The
created, but
the
they
creators of Bungie.
producing... No, it was Bungie, but it was produced by Activision.
Yeah.
So you've got Blizzard Activision money to throw at the advertising budget, and that's been proven to work, so fuck it.
Well,
I mean...
My knowledge of Activision as a company that exists is just never certain.
You're not certain of them? Or
the
certain?
amount of times that they've been like closing and then not closing and selling all of their IP and then...
Really?
Yeah. They've been real up and down.
Yeah. Well, isn't that why they got bought by Blizzard?
It was
Yeah.
a merger.
Well-
People say that Activision bought Blizzard, but it was a merger because it's Activision Blizzard. Like, yeah. Anyways, maybe, but I mean, they kept COD, Tony Hawk. Oh god, we don't talk about Tony Hawk.
Bring back Pro Skater 3.
A moment for Pro Skater
Yeah.
1 through 4.
Respect to the fucking Fallen.
And to a lesser extent, Underground 2.
One was still good. I liked one.
Yeah.
The hometowny feel. And
Well, one was like, do you remember all these things you used to like?
Okay, fair. And now it's just.
And that was
Skate.
still Neversoft though. It was Activision, but Neversoft was like the production company.
Again, yeah, I think it
Which
was
is now
Neversoft
defunct.
published by...
Yeah.
I think
yeah.
Activision's more of a publishing house nowadays.
Yeah, Neversoft is very out of business.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very defunct by now.
On the way of THQ.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but well, no, there's THQ Nordic now, and they're fucking
Well, it's the
rocking everyone's dicks right now.
Nordic Games. All of their IP, all of THQ's IP went to Nordic Games, so they all came under the guise of THQ Nordic.
Yes, but I guess to bring it back to what we were talking about is games that we're looking forward to in this AAA Christmas season, and mine is Destiny 2, and you probably hate me already for that, but fuck you, and I really am excited for it on PC.
Please listen to our production.
Please listen, but fuck you. Like,
But please listen.
but please listen. No, Destiny 2 on computer is fucking gorgeous. Like, I from day one of playing Destiny 1, it's like, why am I not playing this on PC? Like, it feels like it should. It runs uncapped at 4K, so you can get 120 frames, 4K, beautiful. Like, you just want to stand and look at all the like ancient modern details on the walls
And graphics aside as well, it's a perfect gameplay
exactly
thing for a PC game. Where
exactly
you've got the FPS where you need that kind of mouse control and everything for your cursor,
correct,
as well as the RPG.
I sit at my computer and do nothing all day because Destiny is fucking amazing.
Because I'm grinding and
Yeah.
I need this.
Yeah, but I guess some concerns that have been vocalized are around how Destiny 1 was played and made and
And they've removed settings if you didn't pay for them.
really?
Yeah, didn't you hear about that in Destiny 1?
No.
Oh man, so if you didn't buy one of the new packages, they completely removed a couple of your, like, just the base, like, because I've never really played Destiny.
Yeah.
Because I was always just like, oh, that's a nice hype machine. But, yeah, so apparently, and again, fact check this, whoever's listening out there.
Yeah, of course.
But...
Please, what he said.
But I don't want to spread misinformation.
Yeah,
of course.
Yeah. But from what I've heard, if you didn't download one of the expansion packages, it removed a lot of your game settings. So you've only had like Firefight or something to go into. There wasn't any other like I don't know the.
Right. Okay.
You know
So
what I
in
mean?
the Crucible, oh, they didn't. Okay, so they probably didn't explicitly say you can't do this anymore. We're taking it, but they changed it. So in the Crucible, which is the PvP, they introduced things that were only playable on the newest
Exactly.
King.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's pretty cunty.
Right. It's a very EA move, like microtransaction kind of thing.
Yeah. Okay, so in the press releases, it wasn't explicitly in the advertising for it, but in a lot of press releases they have said we want to make this a 10-year franchise. People misinterpreted.
I hate that word.
Yes, but people misinterpreted that as 10-year storyline. So they're expecting this 10-year grandiose storyline, and it's like, no, that was never promised.
No,
Yeah.
we meant it the same way that Legend of Zelda is a 30-year franchise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where it's like we
There's
release
common
a new-
threads
Yeah.
and there's things that tie together, but I mean, it kind of is, but it really isn't. Like,
Explain that. Hang on. Sorry, it kind of is, but it kind of isn't. What do you mean?
like there is a storyline that kind of, so in each expansion there's kind of a storyline, and you can do that through the dungeons. You find out the start of it, and then the new expansion comes, and you'll be introduced to a few new characters, and they're the thing. So it's not like, it kind of is, but it isn't.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah.
But I'm excited for it because I played it.
All of the shit we've talked about Destiny 1 aside.
Yeah, no, like straight up, there was in the Destiny 2 beta, there was 2 different Crucible PvP match types, a search and destroy or counter strike-esque, plant the bomb, 1 life per round, multiple rounds, and then there was a capture the point team deathmatch-esque style. That was it for PvP, and then there was 1 strike, which is a classic dungeon. In Destiny, you're in groups of 3, and you approach that, you go through, you kill trash, mini-bosses, and the final boss, you get loot. I had never played Destiny properly with friends before, but I can honestly say that Destiny 2, that 1 strike, and I hope all the strikes are like that, was the most fun I have had with friends in a game in the last 5 years.
Wait, so explain first strike.
The first dungeon. So the dungeon they had in the beta.
Of Destiny 2.
And the Destiny 2
Okay,
beta.
Yep.
Was the most fun I've had in years.
Sick.
There was platforming. You land on this kind of hub universe, and then you're like shot over to this like Halo-esque structure, and you start moving your way through these ruins, and you need to make these big jumps, and if you don't jump properly, you'll die from full impact and platforming, and there's snipers shooting at you, and
Sick.
I guess I was more enjoying it because one of my friends had never played Destiny before, and he was ecstatic. He's like, "This is the best game I've ever played." He adored it, but even still, I was having a great time, and I'm fucking stoked for it. I cannot wait for Destiny 2.
What are you looking forward to most, do you think?
Progression, properly progressing, because when I first played it in Destiny 1, there was very much a case of do the story, get to max level, do the hardest strikes, grind till you get the best gear, maybe raid. It was very hard to breach that first tier to second tier. It was gear RNG and grinding for resources to upgrade your gear to that point.
Right.
It's very much an MMO gating to it, whereas if you don't have good enough gear, you won't be able to do the bosses. You can't do enough damage in the time it will take before they enrage, or they just kill you because you got to go through too many cycles.
Right, okay.
However, as I've come back into the Taken King, and I can't remember the second expansion of Destiny 1, they had implemented other factors where there was more strikes, different levels of strikes. So there'd be like a strike, heroic strike, raiding, nightmare strikes.
Jesus, this sounds like a
Jesus.
fucking horrifying nightmare
Yeah.
more than anything.
But
Nightmare strikes.
yeah, but I
Creepy
guess
uncle strikes.
I guess it was really frustrating, and it kind of hit a wall for me. So being able to jump in it with friends day one, get to that point, and progress in raiding. Because when I was hit by the wall, me and my friend that were playing it at the time went, "Fuck this grinding. We're just gonna do PvP." And don't get me wrong, but it's an arena shooter. There's only so much you can do. And I stopped playing it for other games, and it wasn't because I was completely dissatisfied with Destiny. But yeah, long and short of it, I'm looking forward to PvE progression and raiding and boss fights, because they're beautifully and intricately designed fights. And
Oh, yeah, I love
rooms
a good PvE. Yeah.
and oh, it's gorgeous.
Just to play devil's advocate, though,
Mm-hmm.
are you looking forward to Destiny 2 for the playing with friends aspect? Which, don't get me wrong, is probably one of the best part of multiplayer gaming. Like,
Yes.
some of the best fun I've had online is like, you know, GTA 5 online, messing around.
I think everyone's had like that. All six of us are playing.
Yeah.
Kind of. Borderlands 2.
Team 4
Borderlands
Star.
2 was that.
Team
Yeah.
4-star or whatever else. Remember when we were all on WoW and
Yeah.
The best part about gaming online is gaming with people you know in real life, because
Correct.
you know, you already know each other in real life. You've
Or
already
even
broken
meeting
that
new
ice.
friends.
Yeah,
Or-
exactly.
yeah.
Exactly.
And
It's
you
that whole
and you
human
start
element.
making your own fun as well.
Yeah,
Exactly.
100%.
Exactly.
Absolutely. So, again, just to play
Of
devil's
course, of
advocate,
course.
are you looking forward to Destiny 2 more for the meeting new people, playing with humans, having fun with friends,
Yes.
or are you looking forward to it more for the game aspect itself?
70% with friends, 30% Destiny.
Yep, that's fair.
It's like straight up. If I wasn't playing with friends, I would maybe veto it. I would check it out because it's PC, but it's more the playing with friends. But if it was just a PS4 release by myself, I probably would not play it. But that being said, with it being on PC and how beautiful it can look, I probably still would have played it without friends. So you're very right to play devil's advocate in it.
If I can play, I guess, Angel's Advocate and
Okay.
soothe your soul a little bit. Soothe your soul a little bit.
Of course.
I've been kind of following along with early like beta stuff and what people are thinking of it. From what I can tell, it's what Destiny 1 should have been when it was released.
Correct.
But it's as good as it was when it finished. As in all of the stuff that was there when it's finished, all of the high-end raids that people really enjoyed is all there.
Yes.
And more.
Yes.
So things that weren't important in Destiny 1 are now like important, and you want to participate in them in Destiny 2. For example, public events. Are now I have to find a public event. God damn it. More like, let's go do this.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, I
this
didn't
is
think of that.
this is
Yeah,
something
yeah.
I'm going to enjoy doing.
Yeah.
What? Game companies can build on what they've already created? No!
Yeah. 100% that. Yes.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I was saying, where there's an actual progression to get into raiding, not just hope you get carried by someone who's good, or hope you can get into a group and hope that you can persevere through grinding the same things over and over and over again. But that being said, the gunplay feels fantastic on PC. The gunplay's always felt good, but it feels... you guys never played much competitive online Halo. I know we... Ed and I
dabbled.
In Halo 4, we played a lot
I
together.
dabbled a bit of Halo 4. I was never as into it as my friends.
I enjoyed it as a thing, but like competitive, I was just like, nah, I can't get headshots every time. I'm enjoying more.
Yeah, that was my issue. I felt there was a skill cap there for me that I could just never surpass, because there are people that just spend like 8 hours a day haloing.
Yeah, exactly.
And all of a sudden I'm getting dropped in games with them, and I'm fairly casual when it comes to multiplayer stuff. I'll play like 20 minutes, like in a session. Yeah. And I'll get dropped in, like, oh, let's play some online. Yeah. Oh, sure died a lot. Sure died a lot.
Yeah,
Killed
man,
not very much. Yeah. These people clearly have a better orientation for the things around them than I do, because I've been walking into this corner.
Man, I don't know this map. Yeah.
And they just beautiful man, just floating and pirouetting and 360 no-scoping and have internal timers of the power weapons. But more to what I was saying, the gunplay feels like Halo, where it is that repeated headshots. It feels rewarding on a mouse, not that kind of awkward clunky adjustment on a joystick where you just kind of dodging their head a little bit and stuff like that.
Alright, just a very quick sidebar.
Of course.
Here's what I hate about RPG shooters like Fallout, like Destiny, like Borderlands, like every single thing like it. Doesn't matter where you aim your fucking reticle. Yes. It doesn't matter how on point you are with your headshots. You still might not kill him straight away, which is bullshit.
Okay, yep, fair enough.
That's what I enjoy about Fallout, though. It's like, the technology exists, so we can make him better.
Yeah.
Look, it's
we understand his shit, here you go.
So with the VATS, I'm guessing?
Yeah, of course.
But I mean, where, it's not even VATS, it's just you with skill, lining up a headshot, boom, you've hit it, and I'm thinking more PvE rather than PvP, because they'd have to scale it and balance and everything for PvP and everything like that, so it's kind of negligible. But on a boss, you're hitting headshots and it's giving you crits all the time because you're giving headshots, but it's nah, he wouldn't have a head. He wouldn't have a head at this point. I hit him with a 50 cal sniper rifle, space 50 cal, which is, I guess, 500 squared cal?
Okay, yeah, I'll pay that.
That's just overall, not just Destiny or Destiny 2 or anything like that. That's overall is the what I dislike about RPG. They could duck, I guess, is their player model kind of thing as the shot rings out. But
you're dealing with life bars.
Exactly.
Rather than real
and DPS and everything, rather than I just fucking nailed this guy from 600 meters away with a sniper headshot that, if I was playing Sniper Elite, would have given me an amazing kill where it followed the bullet and went through his head, then reversed from the wind, went through his testicles, and then back up through his spleen.
I feel like you'd like Sniper Elite. Have you guys seen much of those games?
Oh yeah, it's fucking sick.
I feel like that'd be your jam.
Yeah.
Look,
the testicle shots and whatnot.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But
I digress.
From where you've digressing still, from where you got to get the testicle shots,
Yeah. I completely agree on that.
Yeah.
That more frustrates me on semi-realistic games when you're playing a COD or Battlefield, and I don't give a fuck if you're using anything above a pistol and you hit a motherfucker in the chest. They die. They die. I'm sorry, they're dead.
That's
I can rationalize it with Destiny and Halo because space armor and shields and space magic and shit like that. or it's just not quite there in the animations, but it's in a role playing D&D sense where you don't roll you roll a critical, you hit them in the jugular. You roll a 15 or a 14, you glancing blow or something like that. It's kind of like that simulated of
and I can totally understand
of course.
I mean, I find it the most difficult, I guess, with FPS RPGs, simply because it's that mix of quick reaction skill and skill tree build up, where it's you've got all these stats and everything going towards critical hits and blah blah blah, this and the other, but then it doesn't feel right paired with the quick reaction, snap headshot, snap body shot kind of thing. Okay. So I guess that's why I haven't really played Destiny or anything, or what.
No, that's
those
fine.
sort of things. You know, even Borderlands, like, as cool as that would have been, I'm pelting this end boss with rocket launchers. I don't care how strong this thing's, like, fur is, it can't stop a rocket launcher. You know what I mean?
No, that's fair.
Yeah. Can't quite, like, suspend the disbelief of like,
that's
I can
what
totally
thinking.
understand why people get into it. Like, I mean, it looks like a cool game. Like, the lore is amazing because it's Bungie. Like, I mean, they've got the whole Halo
They know how to
universe
tell
and
a
everything.
subtle story.
Absolutely.
And, like, have these poignant moments with great cinematics.
Yeah.
Like, the opening mission that you play, it's just like, oh, damn, this is a pretty game, and it's cool, and I want to know more.
But arguably, could you skip past those cinematics and still enjoy the game for what it is?
I think you could, and I think a lot of people do.
And that's what I mean.
Yeah, they do not give a fuck about the story. They're there for the gunplay.
Exactly.
But I mean, that kind of, I'm not going to go into it, but that's like the power gamer versus your whatever.
That's true.
But I think that's good on Destiny. Ethan, what are you looking forward to coming out in the next 6 months, let's say?
Next 6 months. Look, honestly, I
a
have
lot of shit coming out in the next 6 months.
Oh,
Jesus.
yeah, okay. Well, yeah. So let's keep it just in the Christmas season.
Alright. When's Odyssey coming out? Just out of interest? Is that slated for this Christmas season?
That will be this Christmas season. It's in like a month or two, actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Full posterity for everyone out there. I've got a Triforce tattoo. So I'm a bit of a Nintendo kid. I love my Legend of Zelda. Mario Odyssey, for those who don't know, is kind of Super Mario dropped in a real-world universe. And honestly, it ain't right. It ain't right at all. Like, it feels weird to me. Like, just from the videos I've seen and everything like that, Mario looks like a block in a real-world universe.
Well, it's not entirely set in that, like, city setting. It's the one that's like one of the worlds in which he operates.
I understand that.
I thought it was more of the hub world.
I'm not entirely certain.
I haven't played.
I feel like it's from what I can tell, it's Mario Galaxy, but like Mario history. If that makes sense.
Shit. Well, I might need to revoke my entire statement of that and watch some more videos of Mario Odyssey.
Because there's footage of him wearing a sombrero and jumping around in pyramids and.
But arguably that's been done before with like Mario Party or.
I think it's more of just like instead of just like galaxy and going to different galaxies, you're going to lots of different settings and places.
Yeah.
I kind of just like I get this feel like when I watched Odyssey, I'm like that's cool. And you remember that Simpsons episode where Homer goes to the live action?
Yeah.
And there's that really unsettling feeling?
That's exactly
That's
what
how I
I'm talking
feel
about
it. It just
100%.
doesn't feel right.
No.
I'll fucking play it. Like, it looks gorgeous.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
But
And if it's like Mario, Breath of the Wild Mario, holy shit, I'm all for that. Because Breath of the Wild, Legend of Zelda fan alone, and then...
Don't expect that.
It's not going
No,
to be
no, absolutely
But
not.
at least for your enjoyment of this game, don't expect Breath of the
But
Wild.
I mean, at least in, like, the design philosophies of Nintendo at this, I guess, in the last couple of years, they've been really trying to just break the mold and get back to basics, but innovate. I guess tying that back in, what do you think about the fact that the first and pioneering 3D platformer, Super Mario 64, was based around these different types of hats?
Well, yeah, honestly, I thought that was cool. Yeah, fly hat, metal hat, invisibility hat.
Yeah.
Those were the three ones.
It wasn't completely based around that, but there was a large portion of gating in the game, finding those specific things. And it wasn't integral, but it wasn't
No, it's definitely integral.
If there's one thing that the team that makes Mario does really well, every single new iteration or franchise of Mario games, is they're very good at introducing new mechanics.
100%.
Yes.
So Mario Galaxy was all about the geometry, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Geometry of your stage.
And
Mario
how
Sunshine
sick it
was all
walking
about
around a planet.
Mario Sunshine was all about the water and the washing shit off and cleaning and using your little water pack. This game is all about your hat.
Yeah.
Exactly, and that's where I was tying it back into, where Breath of the Wild, watching the creations of it, they wanted to go back to that, I used this lamp on a bush in the original Zelda and it might reveal a secret area, having that sort of what if I do this sort of moment? I hope that's what they're trying to do with the design philosophy of Mario's. This is what it was like at the start with the base idea for the hats, and this is what you can do with your hat now. You can turn into a fucking fire hydrant or a person.
I was going to say on that,
You turn into a dirty porn star with Mario's hat just slam in the Princess Peach. Oh,
the very first thing that struck me when I watched the trailer today, because I was like, we're talking about what things are coming out. I'm going to watch the trailer for anything that's like seems semi-interesting. First thing that struck me about the Mario Odyssey trailer was the terrifying implications that you could throw your hat at a human being and possess them.
Right? Yeah.
Right?
Just like, Mamma mia!
Not even so much that, but those
Mamma mia!
satanic eyes that come out of the hat as well, because it's like an omniscient hat.
Exactly.
It's fucking terrifying.
What were you talking about before with Mario 64 and all the hats you collect and everything?
Well, just kind
of...
Oh, yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Yes, they were an integral part of the story and finishing the game and everything like that. They weren't the story. And it seems like Mario Odyssey is very much the hat.
Mario and his hat.
Character.
Mario
the
and
hat's
his hat
the
the
story.
game.
Exactly. It's Super Mario and his hat, and it's like, nah, that was never a character. That never really gelled. And it's kind of building on the whole Rabbids thing, where it's like, oh, if we mix Mario and this, if we mix Mario and that, if we mix Mario and the other. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I know
it's like
completely what you meant.
I just love the idea. Maybe Mario throws his hat at Peach and then just like kind of like slips a move out. Oh yeah, yes.
Oh yeah, Mamma mia!
Mamma mia! Mario's a putting that in his
Mario!
Mario's a putting that in his wanker bank.
Fucking finally!
My balls are so bluer than my overalls. Mamma mia!
And bluer than these fucking coins I have to collect.
And then he's just like, wow, where's Daisy?
Yeah, so Mario Odyssey is pretty cool. But going back to a little bit as well, I'm a bit of a Zelda fan as well.
Of course.
So I'm really looking forward to the DLC coming out at the end of this year for Breath of the Wild itself.
Yes.
Master challenges?
No,
that's
they've
already
already come out,
yeah.
and man, I devoured those. Oh man,
Devour in a good way?
such a good way.
Okay, cool.
I very much like the concept for those.
Absolutely, because without spoiling too much for anyone who hasn't played too much, I went through the game, completed it, and did as much as I could before the DLC came out. I came out, there was all of a sudden more to do, and then something to restart the game, harder challenge with all of these extra things.
It
and
feels
the extra
like what a Master Quest should be. Sorry.
Exactly. No,
Yeah.
but with the extra things, they're not like upgradable or anything like that, so it's very much starter tier gear.
It very much has a premise.
Yes,
Would you like to explain
exactly.
the premise
Of
of the Master Challenge? It very much has like a premise which boxes these in their own little world, which makes them interesting and unique.
Well, no, that's the challenges of the sword.
Yes.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yes. So, challenges of the sword. Okay, spoiler alert for everyone out there. Anyone who loves Breath of the Wild, skip past the next, I don't know, 5
I think
minutes or so.
the basic premise of
Wait,
something is
have
not
I
quite
played this yet? Is this going to spoil it for me?
Honestly, I don't think so. It's like, it's a cool little thing, but it's not...
To my knowledge, and we'll describe it as this way. For anyone with
You
spoilers.
tell me what you know, and then I'll go from
You're in it's like a room, and there's like 40 other rooms, and one might be a puzzle, one might just be monsters, and you just gotta clear all the rooms out. That's kind of how it was vaguely described to me.
It kind of, essentially, yeah. So essentially, that's the challenge of the sword. So essentially, once you've obtained the Master Sword in Legend of Zelda... Spoiler!
Oh, okay, yeah.
Spoiler, guys!
Yeah.
The Master Sword appears in another Legend of Zelda game.
I thought it wasn't for a while.
Sorry,
Well,
guys.
yeah.
Spoiler alert. Link
Sorry.
dies.
Yeah. Link dies, he kills Princess Zelda, and he fucks Ganon.
Develops an alcohol problem. They really took a turn at this one.
So with Challenge of the Sword, so essentially you go back to where you got the Master Sword, and then you essentially do these challenges, which start getting harder. Essentially, it's clear all the enemies and then progress to the next thing, and you're stripped of all your gear, all of your materials, everything. So you're naked when you start. You go through this. It's sick. It's a lot of fun.
And you like pick stuff up, go about it.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, so it's kind of like, hi, welcome to your first set of challenges. Here's a stick.
Yeah, a
Luck.
lot of throwing rocks at moglins, from what I understand.
A lot of that. A lot of
Right.
that, and hitting them with sticks and
Yeah.
stuff like that. When you get the bow and arrow, you feel like a king. But anyway, so those are the challenges of the sword, right? So think like Portal mini challenges in Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild game.
Okay.
So it's like, here's a mini shrine with enemies. Kill all the enemies, you unlock the door, go to the next level, which is harder.
Cool.
Yeah.
I could fuck with that.
It's awesome. It's so cool, and when you get to the end of it, you feel like a king.
Wait, so is this what has it come out? Is this?
Yeah, this is the
this
DLC
is-
that's
Oh
already
fuck!
come out.
I thought this was the one that was coming
No,
out.
no, the puzzle dungeons is coming, which I'm
But speaking
Oh.
of the one that's coming out, would you like to describe what's going on there for
Well,
us?
and I've only described a little bit of it. There's a Master's Curse as well, where you essentially restart the game, but everything is at super advanced difficulty. You do less damage, your
New
weapons
game
break
plus.
quick. Yeah, essentially you get
Yeah.
plus. Yeah,
Without the plus, because you don't have anything from the prior game.
yeah, you get one save
New
as
game,
well.
fuck you.
Yeah.
New game,
Yeah.
go kill yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, you get one save and one autosave, and that's it. For the whole Master's Quest, that's it.
Wait, what?
So you know how it autosaves regularly and then there's a new one? So if you mess up really bad, a few autosaves in, you can go back to the first one and be like, alright, I can do this much cleaner.
Okay,
Or
yeah.
whatever else.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You get one in Master's Quest. So if you fuck it up later on, you're fucked. Kind of thing.
And you've got one save?
So that's the...
One instance of saving.
Yeah, so one
Sorry,
save
yeah.
game.
Yeah. Because I
yeah.
thought it was like, you can only save what? Do you need to like run a 48-hour like this is literally the Master's Quest.
Yeah,
like
do it now, bitch.
oh
Yeah,
my
no.
god, I'm thinking like 3 tabs deep, you fucking dinner plate, I am Link. Just like flailing your arms
Fucking
around.
the great Deku tree keeps his pimp hand strong. Get onto it.
No, so you get one save game and then one autosave save game.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's
Okay.
the Master Quest. The DLC that's coming out soon is apparently, this is from what I heard like a little while ago when the first DLC was still being released, but apparently it's a bunch of puzzle dungeons. So
cool.
so picture all the 120 shrines you've already cleared. Now puzzles that quality and harder go,
Yeah.
which
Cool.
I cannot wait
Cool.
for, because that's the only thing I felt was somewhat lacking from Breath of the Wild. Like, yes, there's this awesome emphasis on exploration and figuring out what you can do in the engine and how much the world affects you and everything like that. And then it was like, and we've got shrines.
And sorry
What,
to
temples? Sorry, what?
yeah,
They
sorry
felt
to, yeah.
separated from the main game.
Dude,
Yeah,
straight up, the
yeah,
fucking
yeah.
dungeons, the
The
Divine Beasts were
yeah.
fucking shit. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
they were
They
so
fucking
easy.
shit.
It was like, find the
okay, well,
control
not the
panels.
first one. Ed and I were really drunk when we tried to do the elephant one. And remember, we were trying to get into that one gate, and literally all you do was like hit one thing, and we spent 45 minutes.
And it was a
like,
case of me like kind of slurring like, what if you did
And
that?
I'm just like, no.
No, maybe try it.
I'm just like, no, I don't want to.
And then 20 minutes later, I don't know.
So it's like me with dressage and the horses. You can do dressage with the horses. Yeah, I shit you not.
Alright.
But yeah,
This-
just
for
to
this-
tie
That's
back
what
to-
I mean. Yeah,
For
so
the
Go
sake
back
of
to what I
audio
was
levels, I'll like insinuate that I'm squeaking inside at the thought of dressage.
But just to what I was saying on the dungeons, they felt kind of disappointing. Like,
yeah.
they didn't
Yeah.
feel like the first time I ever went into the fucking Shadow Temple in Ocarina of Time, and
Oh,
I'm like,
man.
what the fuck? And then you just fall through a floor, and you're like, what the fuck is this? Where it's just like, you do this, you fix the ding, and all of them had the, like, I can't even remember, but like,
All of them had
cleanse
the same mechanic.
yeah,
Exactly the same
slightly
mechanic.
different inherent mechanic, but it was like, oh, that's the gist of this dungeon. Which
Yeah.
isn't this true to a lot of other Zelda games? Find the item, use that item in the dungeon.
True.
But there's a lot of creative ways that you could do that. Whereas, like, straight up, the bird and the camel was just frustrating, and I think I done the bird Divine Beast, so I had the jump up thing.
Yeah.
It was boring and frustrating enough that I literally just cheesed it with the high jump.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the fuck even is this? Like, I was personally, aside from that, I love the game. I think it's fucking
Yeah.
gorgeous.
Yeah, when you're out in the overworld,
in the
of thing,
overworld,
it's
yes.
insanely good.
Yes.
When I accidentally dropped an egg into a hot pool kind of thing,
Mhm.
and found out you could boil eggs that way.
Mm.
Oh my god.
Alright.
Yeah,
I
right.
haven't played this game, but this is tickling me greatly. That is very much the kind of thing that
It's
gets me going.
unreal.
You just do a random thing and you're like, wait, there's that fucking implication?
Yeah.
I'm all about being dropped into a world and then, like, without rules and figuring out what the rules are yourself.
Yeah, 100%. And that's very much this. I wasn't always a gamer like this as well, like Skyrim and Mass Effect.
Skyrim's
like
another excellent example of figure out the rules.
Interesting though, but like I hated them.
Really?
I couldn't play them because I was bored from the outset because there was no overarching thing, at least to me. And I get this could be my Legend of Zelda fandom, or this could be something
I
else,
think it
but-
was the inherent upbringing that we had with games. Just to paraphrase, to sidetrack, Ethan and I are brothers, so we had a lot of we played the same games growing up, and I have to concur, like Fallout never fucking interested me because there was no driving narrative.
Yeah, it's
I
like
think
go
that's
find
what
your
it
dad,
was.
and then it's just like, oh, but look at all this other shit you can do, and it's like,
Yeah.
I don't care.
Whereas Fable, which was a much more linear but very narrative driven,
Yeah.
just fucking tickles my pickle. Like
100%.
that game looks like fucking shit now, but it's fucking like one of my favorite. Like I'm contemplating downloading Fable right now.
Don't make me sad by bringing out Fable.
No,
miss
because
that
then I
game.
just remembered how bad they did it.
If I could describe Fable in a word, it would be...
Yeah.
If
Fable
I could
1,
describe it in two as a downside description, it'd be Peter fucking Molyneux. I know that's 3 words, but deal with it.
Oh yeah. You don't have to go to our podcast.
Yeah.
How fucking bad he messed that up. There's a lot of people with that
straight up.
opinion.
Hey, we're gonna promise this, but deliver?
Yeah. So
Connect, I guess?
Yeah.
on Breath of the Wild. So you're excited for the DLC. That's
Yes.
obviously going to be amazing. It's a
Yes.
fucking amazing game.
As for
And
games themselves, alone.
is there any other games that you're looking forward to specifically?
Look, I'm honestly looking forward to Call of Duty. World War II. I'm interested to see where they go with this World War II again. Now that technology's kind of caught up to the point where they can...
We've had the full circle.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We've gone, okay, so we started with World War II, now we've gone through some other conflicts that we've already gone through.
The modern warfare.
Exactly. Now that we're at modern warfare, where it's like people literally flying around battlefields, hitting people with sledgehammers, that's not a shooter. And that's not even a fun arcade game. That's just fucking bullshit. I
gotta say though, if I was 12 and first picked up COD, I probably would have enjoyed it. But
Yeah.
as seeing someone who started with World at War,
I think that was my entry into...
I think it was
I
Before
played
or
that.
after Modern
I
Warfare
played that
3?
during music lessons on the computer with
'Cause
someone.
both
with
of those-
fucking
Which one was it? I'm fairly sure it went... Yeah, because it was 5. It was theoretically 5 World at War, I think. It wasn't 5 in the title.
Oh no,
but
sorry, I lied.
What did you play?
A much earlier Call of Duty. It was
Probably
like
3. 3 was World War 2 as well.
yeah, that sounds.
And there was like med packs on the ground and still. It felt more like Battlefield.
Jesus, I don't remember.
Sorry, yeah.
Anyway, yeah.
But yeah, I'm pretty passionate about the World War II Call of Duty franchise because that was the first game that I played with a lot of my friends on the Xbox Live.
Mm-hmm.
And
I had a lot of fun with that too, like playing all the World at War with all the bonsai people and everything. The storyline.
The storyline was fucking incredible, and I hope they don't try to PC censor it because it's a World War II game.
Yeah.
I want to see grit and gore and.
I want it to be dark as fuck.
Yeah,
It's the Americans versus the beige blobs.
Yeah.
No, not even that. Like, I'd honestly be interested in... Because, okay, like, let's be real about it. Not every Nazi was being a Nazi just because they're like, hey, this is a great ideology. And not every Nazi even lived up to that ideology. I'd be really interested to see an exploration of that side of it. I know they're not gonna.
No, they're not.
And
Fuck
they probably never will because let's just be pretty plain and simple about this. Fuck Nazis. And fuck anyone. Fuck all that.
I understand. It'd be an interesting exploration to have, say, a German character who is not so much a supporter of Hitler's ideology, but rather a nationalist who's fighting for his country.
Fighting for Germany.
Who doesn't understand the bigger picture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, how many narratives have we had about people like Modern Warfare when Russia invaded America and then it was like, we're gonna fight for America.
Wait, what?
And then in one of the Modern Warfares or something like that.
Oh, I thought you said literally in Modern Warfare, Warfare 1. I'm like, what the fuck? Warfare 2.
We're
Warfare
talking
2.
We're
Yeah.
talking like
Yeah.
talking Makarov and such.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. And like they were interesting, but it's like, okay, we get it.
They're too scared to dive too into it. And to concur with that point, they're not. I think it's been confirmed that in the campaign for World War II Call of Duty, it's only American soldiers. It's going to be a fucking whitewashing. I hope not, but I'm inclined to believe it'll be a, Patriot.
Well,
yeah.
okay. To
Why not fucking have a proper Anzac Australian in the fucking,
Or to get really dark about it, why not make it so the single player campaign is you essentially don't die, but whenever your character dies, you get taken to another person who's loading up on the beach.
That happens in Battlefield 1.
Yeah.
No, but I mean like...
That actually happens. Well, I know it would be cool in that, but literally in the prologue of Battlefield 1, you're like in the trenches. When he dies, it goes, so-and-so has died. You're now playing as Corporal who's...
sick.
It's fucking... And yes, it works.
But
It's
like, I mean, not
amazing.
even Corporal, just like, Grunt, okay, you're
Oh
dead.
yeah, no, it
Grunt,
jumps
you're
from
dead.
it. Yeah,
Grunt,
yeah.
You're dead. Grunt,
I-
you're dead.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think we are blinded by patriotism a little bit, but I think the ultimate opening scene to a Call of Duty set in World War II would be storming the beaches of Gallipoli.
And you're
Because
Turkish?
no, as the Australian,
Yeah.
because is that what it was?
Yeah,
It was,
it was.
yeah.
It
my
was.
mistake. But because
Do you mean Normandy, like D-Day, or...
Yeah, but in World War 1, I think that would be
Yeah,
amazing.
because
Again, go on.
it's just like if there's ever a description that is apt for the futility of war.
Mhm.
So you were sent here by people that will never fight in a war,
To
landed
die.
in a terrible position, and just flooded like a
Yeah.
cliff to
Yeah.
be shot.
Mm.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, like I mean that's and going back a little bit, I really like what they did with I think it was Modern Warfare 1 where the character you were playing as for pretty much the whole game died in a nuclear strike. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, yeah.
It was it Ramirez or something like that?
Mhm.
Roach?
No, it was.
No, it was before that.
I don't think it was 1, maybe 2 or 3, but I do.
Oh no, in the first one when you're in the Middle East, you're
in a
taking
chop-
away
No,
the
it was in
chopper.
America or something when the EMP dropped. Maybe that was Modern Warfare 2.
It's been happened a few times. Anyways,
But no, I know who you're talking about. Right?
Yeah.
And that's
The
when
first time-
you swap to soap and.
Yeah, and the first time it happens and you're like crawling out of the chopper and
That's-
then you die and it's just like, holy shit. And now they've gone, oh, people like
Yeah,
that?
that's when the
Blah,
EMP
blah,
drops.
blah.
It's
Yeah,
when the
yeah,
EMP
yeah.
drops.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
the helicopter literally falls out of the sky and you die.
Yeah. Because why would we need a flying thing to have wings?
Yeah. I think
Anyway,
I
yeah.
would like to talk about COD 2 a bit more from a gameplay perspective, but I have not had an opportunity to play the beta, so
Yeah.
we'll touch on this on another episode.
Yeah.
I love the theoretics of it, but it could have trash gunplay and it might be terrible.
Just briefly, I recall that World at War was celebrated for how well balanced it was because there was a cap on the technology.
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Like, when you have these future warfares and whatnot, there's no cap on the technology, so you find every now and again something pretty overpowered sneaks into the game.
Well, I mean,
Yeah,
there was an
because I've got,
MP40, and
I've
I
got a
still
fucking
remember the
ballistic
rage.
missile launcher that can be fired out of a pistol because of
Yeah,
future!
Yeah, exactly. Oh, I
But I
haven't done the
appreciate
locks
what
onto
you're saying.
people's
But you don't go much further than the carbine. You're talking World War II.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Or a Browning, like
exactly.
Yeah.
And they were inherently strong because of that period. They were very strong weapons.
That's that again. That was the cap.
Yeah, literally. Yeah. So just kind of on that point, your kill streaks aren't like drones that you fly in airstrikes. Your kill streak is literally a flame, a Molotov.
With luck,
That's
they
it.
won't even fucking be dogs.
Yeah.
Which is good though.
Not like
'cause that's what I
cyber
mean.
dogs with bees coming out of them,
man.
so when they bark, the bees come out of their mouth.
Sharks with lasers.
Yeah, fuck me. Anyways, I'm not.
Albatross.
I'm kind of over ragging on fucking Activision. I mean,
It's easy to do.
It's
Yeah,
very
oh,
easy to
Low
do.
hanging fruit to
Yeah.
hang
Yeah.
shit on COD.
Another thing I'm kind of looking forward to, and I know this game's been out for a little while, but PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds is coming to Xbox One.
Okay.
Which, for me, as a console
Right, yeah.
gamer, is a pretty cool thing, because I know PC's had it for a while. I haven't
Yes.
played fuck all of it.
Well,
really.
we're gonna play after this. We're playing after
And
this.
I haven't, I've watched a few videos and blah, 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 and,
Yeah.
what looks cool to me about PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds is the stories that come from it, similarly to that we've had from Battlefield things where we're like, it's not so much, oh man, I killed this many people and I had this big of a dick and blah blah blah, but it's more like, man, I was crawling along and this tank went right in front of me and I swear I saw the rubble fragments fall down and I backed up and it was the scariest thing of my life. Like that's what I'm excited for playing.
I think the thing with PUBG or PlayerUnknown's Battleground is that games with an element of chance are much more enjoyable. When anyone in a game can win it, like you can literally win a game of PlayerUnknown's Battleground by hiding like a bitch for 20 minutes and coming out and shooting a guy.
Oh yeah.
Like
my second game of it ever, I came 5th by doing that. It wasn't as much like that. It was more true sheer terror. I got, I think, a pistol and some dude walked through my house and was like, got like 1 kill. I'm like, I need a fucking car. And then I just like drove. And now looking at the meta of PUBG, you don't drive near the big circles because it's basically just like, here guys, I'm here. But I was just like driving, like lying down in bushes like, fuck. Got like another couple kills and I came 5th and it was amazing and super validating. One thing on it going to console is, because you haven't played it on PC, you wouldn't have known that people with top tier processors and graphics cards, it doesn't run great.
Really?
Because it's such a big fucking game and there's so many things going on at once, are they going to cap the amount of players per game?
Look, it's a console port, it probably will.
Probably
if
would.
anything, textures take a hit, I'd say.
But even the textures, it's just sheer things that have to be loaded on the map at once.
Yeah,
and the first person, and now they're adding vaulting, and I'm scared the technology's not going to be there.
Well, they wouldn't put it out without testing it, right?
No.
Develop games?
No, but it's in early access, so they're allowed to do that. That's a conversation for next week. But no, we haven't.
It absolutely is, yes.
Yeah, we haven't spoken about what you're looking forward to, Ed. Games wise.
Let me premise. Let me like put down a preliminary statement or a preliminary question.
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts on visual novels as games?
Oh, kind of like
Telltale?
Yeah,
no,
Telltale
in
games
a way,
like,
in a way, but I'm talking the more like disgusting side of that, where we're talking like manga.
What? So like,
Have you
Like,
been on
there's a
Steam
lot-
lately?
Yeah.
no, but porn games have existed.
No,
for quite
not
some
even
time.
porn, but kind of.
It's like we do it.
Porn, but kind of.
If there was a grey line between things that are porn and things that are not, these games just sit right. These are the greyest games you've ever damn seen.
Okay.
Like,
Imagine like
Aaron, you have some idea of what I'm talking about.
yeah, I know what you mean. Kind of
How much gameplay do you think that needs to become a game?
like coding into the gameplay?
No.
Not much.
No, human interactivity.
Let me just preface this by saying there was a Brick Breaker game. You know Brick Breaker, or like it's like single player Pong.
Yeah.
There was one of those where literally you just play Brick Breaker and you unlock naked photos of women.
Okay, no. It's not like this.
Departure.
It's
think interactive story. But
it's an
not
interactive
to the
story,
level
but
of, think more dating simulator.
Yes,
Oh,
yes,
right,
but
yeah,
it could be
yeah.
like a detective game.
Dream
under
Daddy.
Yeah.
Dream Daddy. It's essentially
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
sort of yeah.
Because
I definitely have never played a sim dating game. I don't know what you're talking about, Ed.
because
Please elaborate.
there's something I'm looking forward to.
Okay.
As a franchise that sits like on the perfect side of the grey line in terms of gameplay,
Yep.
and that's Danganronpa V3.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So to summarize this franchise, it's essentially the first episode is there's a bunch of like high school age like people.
This is off to a
Now,
great
wait,
start.
let me get this straight. It's real anime. Like,
Oh,
this is
fine,
real angry, like real
Okay.
weedy.
Yeah, I can
Right.
But at
People
its
running with toast
core,
in their mouth.
at its core, there's a really good game. So,
Okay.
So the first episode of this game, there's like everyone goes to their first day of high school, and the gimmick behind this high school is it's the premier high school of Japan.
Excellent.
Like, they go around Japan, they scout the best people
Yes, I'm already in
of
love.
all of their field
Yeah,
to go to the school. So there's the ultimate baseball star.
Yeah, there's the ultimate like bass player.
There's the ultimate pop star. There's the ultimate artist.
creme
There's
de la
the
creme
ultimate martial artist.
Yeah,
Fuck
yeah.
They like try and bring them all into
I'm already on board.
this school.
I love it.
But what happens is they all like mysteriously just wind up this group of 12 in the school, but the school is like shut down, locked up, windows boarded, like big vault on the door, and they're going like, what the fuck happens?
So they have to figure out who.
And then this adorable bear mascot comes out.
Oh no!
Hello, bear? No.
It's more just like the manga trope. Of
Yeah, just
like,
like-
always
yeah,
the
yeah.
Just
animal
like,
character.
here's our logo.
Yeah.
Here's the guy you're going to associate with the game.
Yeah.
He comes out, essentially, yeah.
Yeah.
He's Monokuma. He's like a black and white bear.
Yeah.
But, and says, the only way you escape is by killing someone and not getting caught.
Whoa! Okay.
So you,
Cook a really
play as a
interesting
guy.
Yeah.
You play as a guy that doesn't know what his ultimate power is.
Right.
So, or like he's the ultimate lucky student.
Okay.
So
okay.
he's been picked at random to attend this school of like
Just super gods.
geniuses.
Yeah.
So the
And it's
premise,
just kind of like.
the premise of the game is like, oh my god, how are we going to get out of this situation? Dead body. Who we need to figure out who did it. Otherwise, we all die and he escapes.
Right.
So you go around piecing together the clues of this crime. That's like the first section of the game, talking to people, like figuring out where people were at what time, going to the crime scene and examining the body, like what's the weapon what they've killed people with, and
So kind of like what's it by Rockstar?
LA Noire, but
Yeah.
with a real
With super manga.
really weepy vibe. But like that's the first section of the game.
Okay.
And then the second section of the game is like this courtroom scene where there's various mini games, the crux of which is this ongoing conversation where you have to pick out the statements that people make. And
So kind of like Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney, you think?
yes, but more complex.
Yeah.
Because there's more options available.
Sick.
Like
okay.
so, yeah, going through like this ongoing conversation between 12 people at the start, like less as it goes on.
Yeah.
But and like picking apart their statements and going, you know, this is why this is wrong. This is why this is wrong. And
Shit,
it's
okay.
really well written in that the culprits are never the people you suspect immediately, but are always satisfying
at the end
in the story. Like you're always like, okay,
Cool,
I understand their motives. I understand why they did that. It makes sense that they're the culprit. But so there's 2 iterations of that so far, and like the second one's set on an island with a twist. So like it just that you know people wake up on people wake up on an island that has clearly had people living on it at one point. Like,
Oh, so it's the Dharma facility from Lost.
yeah, but like you know.
Just
and-
because there's people on an island doesn't mean it's fucking lost.
Oh,
Come
right.
on.
But, and there's always like the B story, or not the B story. What kind of B story of like where the fuck are we? What's the story behind this place? Why are we here?
Yeah.
Like without going too much into it, because I think it's something that people should play.
Yeah.
But the third game, they recently released a demo, and it's a demo that stands alone from the story of the main game.
Oh.
So it's like an example of the new mechanics for going around looking at stuff and like having this court trial. But the thing that's really good about the demo is it acknowledges the whole time that it's a demo. Like it's a very meta sort of experience. So
Cool.
the two previous protagonists are there,
Oh,
Right.
cool.
and they're
Alright,
going like they're helping you through like the tutorial aspects of this demo. And then at a certain stage you're like, you're the protagonist now. Like, this one's on you. Figure it out. And then you get to a certain point. It's like the Monokuma character's like, this is a demo. Play the full game. But I think it's a good standard to set for demos that it's a separate entity to the story because it has me real fucking intrigued. And the best new mechanic of this like third iteration of the game is you can choose to tell lies.
Oh.
So the whole deal beforehand is like figure out what the truth is by finding the holes in people's statements. Now there's a new mechanic where it's like tell lies to draw information out of people.
Right.
So you can
That's
you
cool.
can have knowledge, but deny that you have that knowledge to like sort of sweat someone a bit.
Okay, cool.
Fuck. Okay.
Far
But,
out. That adds like 60 different layers. That's insane.
Again, it's a franchise that started out as a PlayStation Portable sort of
Yeah, I can see that for sure.
PlayStation Portable sort of series.
Yeah.
But it's got such a like small but really really strong fan base that it's kind of gone that like Fire Emblem route where it's now getting a big push on the mainstream. So at the end of September, it's getting a full release on PS4, Xbox One, Steam.
Wow. Fuck
That's
yeah.
sick.
But,
Awesome. Okay.
Like it's again, it's really 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 popular. I think it's like front 2 pages on top all time at Steam. The like package deal for 1 and 2.
Jesus.
Sick. Alright.
So it's
Yeah, I'm
got
actually
like
gonna
a
check this out.
really avid fan base.
Yeah, I honestly I was a bit skeptical at first, kind of like, oh, dating sim, oh, another anime
Well,
game.
there's an aspect of that. There's like free time where you get to know the characters. You can buy them gifts.
Know the characters.
You can buy them gifts and stuff. But that feeds into the intrigue though, because
Well,
like
yeah, 'cause
I
it's
really like these guys. Oh, they're dead.
Yeah.
They were the killer.
Yeah.
Or, yeah.
And it's like the rewards for doing well at this game are amazing because at the end of each case, they have like a really well stylized cutscene for the death of the murderer.
Ah,
So
cool.
so the first one, the first culprit, if you're gonna play the game, you're gonna find out who the first culprit is pretty early. But he's the ultimate baseball player. So his death is he's tied to a post while a baseball like launching machine just fucking pelts him from all angles with 1,000 baseballs. And it's amazingly stylized, and the first couple just go. And just like going in circles, and like the last shot is like just 1,000 baseballs going towards him, and he's got his eyes closed in fear, and then he opens them and just goes, and then like a bloody one like rolls away.
Kind
That's
of very
cool.
like Final Destination.
They really don't pull punches. Like it's very violent but not graphic. It's very stylized.
So kind of like Reservoir Dogs violence, where it's like all of it's implied, sort of thing.
Well, in a way, like
To a degree.
all the blood is like fluoro pink.
Oh,
Okay.
So you walk into a scene and it's like, I know there's blood, but I'm not seeing blood. I'm just seeing fluoro pink fucking everywhere.
Yeah. Okay.
Like, you know, fluoro pink, like spurting from someone's jugular.
Man, this looked like a sweet rave until I got here.
So that's immediately what I'm looking forward to most. I think it's possibly the most into a series I've been since The Witcher.
Wow.
Cool.
Because I know you were fucking like
I don't.
you were fist and wrist deep.
I don't look forward to games very like much. I just kind of play what's on sale at the time.
Yeah.
But this is something that I'm going to on release get right into.
Fuck yeah, dude. Awesome. Well, I think that's a pretty good way to end it.
Yeah.
I mean, next week we'll be looking into probably the companies of gaming as a point of discussion, and
Definitely.
I think I'd like to get to know about like what made you the gamer you are today. What sort of games you were into as a kid? What sort of gamer you are now? That's a conversation for a different day. Thank you very much for listening, everyone. And
Thanks, everybody.
Yeah, cheers.
I hope you have a wonderful night. Take it easy, guys.
Bye.
See ya.